Welcome to the No Tracers podcast. What's up, guys? My name is Kay Anagonio. If you are new to this podcast, I'm your host here. How's it going? This podcast is about urban exploring, tips for urban exploring. If you guys are trying to get into it, if you've been doing it for years and you just want a podcast, about urban exploring, this is the one for you. I appreciate you listening. If you've never heard my voice before, well, what's up? How's it going? My name's Kay. This podcast is going to be either weekly or a couple a month. I don't know yet. I just started it. This is the 4th episode, so definitely go back and listen to the other episodes. And leave some feedback if you like what you hear. I would like to hear from you guys. And if you do leave feedback and a rating on this podcast, I will actually send you a signed photo print from one of the abandoned places that I've gotten to explore over the past couple of years. And I'll get that to you as soon as quarantine has been lifted. Hopefully by the time you hear this, we're out of quarantine, but who knows? This coronavirus thing is pretty crazy, but it's also inspired me to create this podcast because I have nothing but time right now. So here we go. This week on the podcast, I'm going to be talking about dealing with security guards, how to deal with security guards when you're exploring abandoned places. All right, so here's the real truth, okay? Security guards are not police officers. They cannot detain you. They cannot arrest you. They can try to, but legally they have very little power when it comes to, detaining or any of that kind of stuff. So most of the time you can either talk yourself out of getting in trouble with security guards, or to be honest with you, they're not making that much money. So you can just hand them a $20 bill, a $50 bill and say, hey, sorry to bother you. Sorry, we were in your space. Here's some money. Let us leave. And oftentimes they'll say, okay, why not? Because it's 50 extra bucks that they wouldn't have made otherwise. And I've done that a few times. And as long as it's not a cop, you should be good. You can bribe people. You just can't bribe the police. I don't know if that's good advice to give you, honestly, but I mean, it's worked for me in the past. Also, just telling a security guard that you are a photographer oftentimes gets you out of any trouble that you could be in, because you're not a vandal, you're not tagging up the place, you're not trying to burn it down, you're just taking photos of the place. And as long as you're honest with them, usually you can get away with it, and sometimes they'll even let you stay. And to be honest with you, one time I was actually exploring or trying to explore an abandoned hospital with my friend Vikers, and the security guard asked us like, hey, are you guys looking for something? You seem a little lost. And we told him we just bullshitted and said like, oh yeah, we're looking for the classrooms on the 4th floor, whatever. And he was like, oh yeah, just take the staff elevator. And I'm sure he knew why we were there. We had big backpacks on full of camera gear, and he keyed us in with his key card into the staff elevator. The door shut behind us, and we were like, okay, when we get to the 4th floor, the doors will open, and then we'll go to the stairs, and then we'll run up the stairs and go to the abandoned part of this hospital. So we're standing in this elevator for like 35 seconds, and nothing is happening. And I was like, oh my God, did he just trap us in here? What the hell? And I pushed 4 over and over and over again, and nothing happened. And then all of a sudden, the elevator shot all the way up to the top like we were in Tower of Terror at Disney. And it stopped on the 17th floor of this hospital, the top floor of the hospital, which was abandoned. And the doors opened, and we were there. And it was the coolest freaking place I have ever been. So massive, massive shout out to that security guard that let us up there. So sometimes security guards know why you're there, and they will let you go into these abandoned places. You just have to ask, or you just have to kind of bullshit your way, and maybe you'll get lucky like we did. And that was like the coolest urban exploring adventure I have ever gone on. We were up there for like 4 hours. We found a surgical classroom. You can see the entire video on youtube.com/justtheletterk if you guys want to check it out, or you can go to justtheletterk.com/blog, and you can go to the urban exploring tab and you can find the blog with all the photos. Super, super cool exploration. I had a blast, and I don't think I'm going to be going back to that place just because now there's a police presence, and I'm going to be doing a future episode on dealing with the cops. But for now, we're just talking about security guards. So yeah, definitely keep in mind that security guards can call the cops, and they will. But like I said, you can often talk your way out of it. I went to an old army warehouse with my friend Chamo is dead, and a security guard stopped us when we got inside, and he knew Chamo, and he was like, hey, I've told you before, like, you're not supposed to be here. Why would you come back? and we just blagged our way through it. We just bullshitted our way through it, and he ended up letting us stay. So we were there for like 3 or 4 hours, just checking it out, exploring, taking photos, filming, doing all kinds of stuff. And then we ended up leaving actually because one of the rooms we were in, the air was super thick and it was starting to like affect us. So, in that particular time, I don't think I had a respirator with me, which is a stupid idea. I did a whole episode recently about gear you should bring with you. And the first thing I talk about is having a respirator with you, because you don't want this stuff in your lungs, because it will have long-term effects on you. And that is no bueno at all. So, the other thing with dealing with security guards at abandoned places is that you never know what abandoned place is going to have a security guard. And this is mostly through word of mouth that we figure out that there is security. We just ask each other like, oh, yo, have you seen security at this place? Like, a lot of times bigger places have security, like asylums have security, malls have security. It just depends on the area, the kind of people that are getting into these places, and how well known it is. And thanks to things like YouTube and Instagram, a lot of these abandoned places are super well known now. So that means they have actually hired security to protect these buildings from vandals. And so a lot of times these buildings are going to have security. So you have to either, strap up and know that you're going to just face security, or you have to stay at home, And when I say strap up, I don't mean like get a gun. I'm saying strap up, like buckle yourself in, like here we go, like you got to deal with it, Don't bring a gun to an abandoned place. That's a huge rule. Don't do that. It's a bad idea. It's going to end very, very badly, actually. So do not do it. Security guards, depending on the kind of security guard, you can either pay them, and especially like if you're in a foreign country exploring, like Thailand, like you can pay them like 500 baht and they will let you explore, which is super cool. So yeah, most of the time you can just pay off security. And another time I actually did that was at an abandoned water park in the desert. This guy, random guy, not security guard, but this random guy showed up and he was like, if you guys don't leave, I'm going to call the cops. And so we were like, if we give you $20, can we stay here for an hour? And he was like, sure. He just made a free $20 for nothing, for threatening some kids, So he got paid, he left, and we were there for like 5 hours. Always stay longer than you tell them you're going to stay, because like, what are they going to do? Call the cops? Then you could say, oh no, we paid him to let us go in, and then he's going to get in trouble for it. So yeah, definitely pay security guards. They are there to protect the building. They don't make a whole lot of money. So if you guys are trying to get into a place and you have a couple bucks on you, that's a surefire way to get out of jail free, basically, when it comes to security guards. Again, we're talking about security guards, not police officers. Do not bribe the police. It is against the law. You will go to jail. They will arrest you. It's not a good time. But yeah, that was my podcast on tips for security guards, dealing with them and how to handle them. If you guys do get caught, just be super nice. Don't try to like be a macho man. Don't try to like threaten people. Don't pull a knife out. Like, don't be stupid. Just be honest, be kind, and you'll probably get away with it. But if you guys have topic suggestions for the podcast, please let me know through Instagram at @NoTracers. Thank you guys for listening to this episode of the No Tracers podcast. Remember, go out, create something, but leave no trace. I'll talk to you guys on the next episode of this podcast. If you liked it, hit that subscribe button. If you're new, also hit that subscribe button. And if you did like it, leave some feedback for me. I would love to hear what you guys think about this. And if you're getting any insightful tips, thank you guys. I'll talk to you next time. My name is Kay. You're the best.